Hare Krishna. So last time we were discussing this the second aspect of Anisthita Bhajan Kriya, that is Dhanatara. So we were discussing that how, especially for the upcoming devotee who comes to the four devotion service, so most difficult stages are Bhajan Kriya and Anartha Nivarti. Why? Bhajan Kriya में मन नहीं लगता है और अनर्थ छोड़ने को भी मन नहीं करता है. So person, he wants to keep anarthas, he treats anartha as artha, and that's why it is a painful stage where he wants also and he does not want also, because now he has a knowledge, he has heard from the scriptures that they are anarthas, so he has some desire that I don't want them, but then he has some inclination that I want them, and that's why this kind of turmoil sadhaka goes through. And then Bhajan Kriya, because currently he is at a sadhaka stage, so he does not have a swabhavaki ruchi, he does not have a natural taste for sadhana. So that's why that also becomes a struggle. So this Dhanatara is a stage because of which there is a fluctuating in the practices. So a sadhaka, sometimes he makes a better mind about, I will get up very early. I will chant 16 hours in the morning itself, and I will try to read every day, I will try to hear every day. And then because of some reason one day he is not able to get up, then again mind puts him down. ठीक है, नहीं होता है, I have to be so fanatic, be practical, and I have to take care of other things first, and later on maybe I can focus more on bhakti. So you will find there are devotees who at one phase of their life were getting up early, chanting 16 hours very attentively, and they were struggling very hard. But the same devotees at other phase of their life, you will find them very dhila, having struggled to get up, having struggled to complete their rounds. So this is the stage of Dhanatara, like this. And same way as our Bhajan Kriya goes, accordingly the Anartha Nivarti also goes. So the day we say full no to any anartha, that day means we have decided now we want to be free from this anartha. But generally, it takes time to come to that stage where we say full no to anartha. Generally it is 40, 60, 50, 50, 60, 40, whatever. But it is not easy to say full no to anartha. Generally one side of our intelligence says, no, this is bad. Now you are a devotee of the Lord. How you can do this? And the mind says, but इतना भी bad नहीं है. Remember थोड़ा सा तो taste आया था. So during chanting time, a syncretic secretary thought may come. Any thought which comes during the chanting time, the very first time when it comes, if you say full no, then it will not come again. Because mind knows that he is not interested. But when you say, I don't want this, but wait, let me see what the thought is. Then mind knows that actually he wants. And then mind will trouble you with that thought. So that's why the Dhanatara is a stage where a sadhaka goes through a lot of confusion, where a sadhaka goes through a lot of disturbance, sadhaka goes through a lot of struggle in his spiritual life. And there is a constant battle between mind, intelligence, between his material side and spiritual side. And many times then it becomes a struggle for him to practice spirituality. So it is mentioned the same child sometimes becomes diligent, engaged in his studies, and yet at other times, because of inability to understand the scriptures, lack of real taste, becomes negligent. In the same way, new devotee will sometimes practice the different activities of devotional service and sometimes neglect them. Being sometimes assiduous and other times negligent, his endeavor is called Dhanatara, condensed, dilute, thick and thin, like that. So this is one aspect of Anisthita Bhajan Kriya. So one thing is we have to know that we are at this level. So we should not become very surprised why this is happening. Many devotees become very surprised. Prabhuji, time and again I make plan, time and again I make a determination, but then again I am not able to keep it. So don't become disturbed by your Dhanataral, because we are at Dhanataral. First is we have to accept that there will be fluctuating in our spiritual journey, because we are not at that mystical level. But what we should do is, wherever we are, we should make a plan that slowly we move above, and this Dhanataral reduces in our life. If you have a very idealistic expectation that there should be no Dhanataral, then that is not possible. And if you become so disheartened and weak that why so much Dhanataral is there, and that also is not good. So first is, whatever it is, we have to accept that yes, I am not at that level, and I lose. Many times I make a plan to get up early, I am not able to. I may get up by 4, although I may make a plan to get up by 3:30 or 3, or I may make a plan to sleep by 9 or 9:30, but then it may become late. I may make a plan to complete by 16 rounds in the morning, but then someday the mind goes so much here and there, the 2 hours goes and only 8 rounds are done. Other day, 2 hours, 16 are done. So don't become too disturbed by this. At the same time, make a positive plan that how the Dhanataral can reduce. And especially sadhaka is a stage of practice. So at this level, the more good habits we can make them as part of our life, that much it helps a lot in our spiritual journey. Good habits in the sense like sleeping early in the night, that is a good habit. And once it becomes a habit, although your mind may not like it, although there may be situation of Dhanataral, but still because of that habit you will sleep on time. So as a sadhaka we have to see certain habits, if you can cultivate, then it helps us to reduce this Dhanataral. If we don't cultivate certain habits as a sadhaka, we don't bring them into our life as a practice, then this Dhanataral will have lot of trouble in our heart. So one such habit is sleeping on time. Another such habit is getting up in the morning. So if you make a habit that every day you are getting by 3:30 or 3:40, then for you to attend morning program becomes very easy, right? Because you have a habit. Although your mind may not want to attend morning program, but you are there in the morning program. So some aspect of Dhanataral has reduced because of your habit of getting up early in the morning. Same way, having a habit of struggling to hear the holy name, sitting at one place and trying your best to hear the holy name. And among all the spiritual practices of Bhajan Kriya which we do, the most important is this struggle to hear the holy names of the Lord. And you will find, you can very easily see this, that they are devotees who are struggling to hear, and they are devotees who have given up this fight. And those devotees who have given up this struggle to hear the holy name, then for them they have to count days, how many remain, how many days they can remain. It's very difficult. Slowly, gradually, their material desires will creep in. Slowly, gradually, they will feel more mechanical towards their chanting. Slowly, gradually, they will feel 16 rounds as a big mountainous burden on them. So one has to see that this struggle does not. My chanting may sometimes be good or bad. That's okay. That's a part of Dhanataral. But the struggle to hear the holy name should not. The sadhaka should have that I want to hear, I want to hear, I want to hear. And he should try his best to hear the holy name. So we have to know that there are certain aspects of Dhanataral which will take time to go as anarthas they go away. But then we have to equip ourselves with certain practices, certain good habits which can help us to have Dhanataral reduced, which can help us to go beyond this stage of Dhanataral. So making such schedule helps. One of the aspect and purpose of sadhana card is this, to have consistency in our sadhana, to have consistency in our lifestyle or regulation. Why? Otherwise this Dhanataral will affect like anything. One of the reasons why in Kali Yuga the standardized processes are required, because people are so much affected by Dhanataral, people are so much affected by the fluctuations of the mind. Just imagine if Srila Prabhupada would not have kept the system of having a standard morning program starting from 4:30. If Srila Prabhupada would have told you have to do Mangal Aarti, you can see whenever you want. How many devotees would be doing Mangal Aarti every day? Probably no one. Right? If Srila Prabhupada would have told you have to chant 60 rounds, you can see whenever you want. If there was no fixed time slot kept in the morning itself, then you will find most devotees at 9-10 p.m. having feedback. Right? Prabhuji bach gaya. Right? So Kali Yuga, already the mind is so fluctuating. So that's why the more mind is put up in the standard routine, that much mind can be consistent in the practices. And if anyone does not have any such standard routine, he has not made any standard plan, then mind will take him in all ways and direction. And by default in Kali Yuga, mind of the people is very weak. Whenever we allow Dhanatara to come in our mind will always take a lower step to come down to material gratification. You will find whenever mind thinks, soum ya no soum, तो क्या करते हैं हम? सोते हैं. Whenever mind says, chanting करना चाहिए कि नहीं करना, जैसे ये confusion आ गया, question आ गया, बस नहीं करना. Right? So we should not allow mind to have this question itself, and that can help to great extent by having this standard routine. That I have to get up at this time, I have to sleep at this time, I have to chant during this time, and I have to try my best to hear the holy name. I have to do this much sadhana, like this. So if you do this, then it helps us to counter this aspect of dhanatar which our mind brings. Otherwise, you will find it becomes very difficult. Slowly, gradually, your mind will drag down to again the same activities which you are doing. Like this. So we have to see that how this dhanataral aspect is reduced. Another thing which can help to reduce this dhanataral is by staying in association of devotees. Like when you are in temple, you want or you don't want, you have to get up by 4. Your mind is happy and unhappy, secondary. You have to get up at 4. Correct? 4:30 you have to be there. Is it not? So it helps actually when you are in a very routine kind of, like Srila Prabhupada says, sadhaka life is a life of a military discipline. Srila Prabhupada writes in one purport, unless a disciple is disciplined, obedient, and sense control, he cannot please his spiritual master, and without pleasing spiritual master, he cannot have mercy of spirit Lord. He cannot go back on God. So discipline. So when we stay in association of devotees, then discipline becomes natural. You have seen when we are in association of devotees, the moment it becomes 9:30, then the sense of urgency comes, I have to sleep, I have to sleep, I have to sleep. Why? Because you have to get up by 4 next day. But suppose you are not with devotees, then this sense of urgency will not come. The schedule is made by who? Myself. And who is the judge to see the my schedule? Myself. And then mind is like, आराम से सो, 11 बजे सो जाओ, आराम से 6 बजे भी देखो बॉडी में दर्द हो रहा है, हेल्थ बर्तन उठा को क्या करें, हेल्थ को सबसे पहले ध्यान देना. आराम से सो जाओ, पूरा एकदम फ्रेश होके फिर ऐसा जब करेंगे पूछो. So if we stay in association of devotees, then that also helps. Sometimes we may be weak in certain aspect or we may be weak in making certain aspect very consistent in our life. But if we have association of a good devotee who is very good at that aspect, then in his association we can also have that aspect. I suppose there is a devotee who sleeps on time, then you spend some days with him. You will find he will also start sleeping on time. If there is a devotee who gets up early in the morning, then be with devotees who gets up early in the morning. You will also start getting up. Like our temple, we have gets up at 2:30, no matter what time he sleeps. अगर वो 11 बजे भी सोएंगे तो 2:30 बजे खड़े होंगे, 12 बजे भी सोएंगे तो 2:30 बजे खड़े होंगे. Whatever time he sleeps, he gets up at 2:30. उनका वो time fix हो गया है ऐसा. So many times when devotees want to get up early, they sleep in his room, and then 2 o'clock alarm starts ringing. Then he gets up and then everyone else gets up. Like now this Yogeshananda Sutta Prabhu, Divesh Prabhu, Sadhgar Prabhu, they all three get up at 2:30. And then 3 to 4:30 they chant in the temple. you see, when we have association, then it becomes easy. To struggle alone becomes very difficult. So this is another aspect which can help us to not get affected too much by Ghanantara if we are in good association like this. Even as a Grasta also, when this he came, Sankarshan Das Adhikari Prabhu, she was saying that my wife and myself, every day we both get up at 3 o'clock. And he is doing this from last 40 or 50 years. Both of them, they get up at 3 o'clock, and then both of them, they are engaged in the spiritual practices. Like that. And so to have such association will help us to be more consistent, to not get affected by the fluctuating of the mind. And the more we come out of this Ghanantara, then that much we are coming closer to Anisthita Bhajan Kriya. More we come out of Ghanantara, that much anartha nivritti will be more better. See how spiritual functions is like, suppose every day it's like whatever sadhana we are doing is not like very great sadhana which we are doing. Every day what sadhana we do is just like a drop of water falling on a rock. Now see, even though it is a drop of water falling on the rock, but if it is falling every day, then what will happen is it will have a mark on the rock, right? But just imagine if 10 days the drop is falling, then you have 4 days gap. Then 10 days drop is falling, then you have 4 days gap. And like this, you have spent 40 years. After 40 years, there will be no mark on the rock. And you may say, probably 40 साल से तो मैं भक्ति कर रहा हूँ, कुछ हो क्यों नहीं रहा? क्योंकि भक्ति भी थोड़ा ही कर रहे हैं, उसमें भी घंटा रहा है, तो फिर कुछ मार्क उसका नहीं रहेगा. But if the drop is falling every day without fail, although it is a small drop, but then it will have impact on the rock. Same way, if you want our sadhana to have impact, then the quality of sadhana will have that impact, but to have quality will take time. But then the consistency of sadhana will surely have impact. And at a sadhaka level, consistency we can bring now. Quality will take time. And consistency is one important aspect to have quality. That's what Srila Prabhupada said, chant 16 rounds minimum every day. So the more a person is able to have a good consistency in his spiritual practices, he can see impact in terms of his anarthas becoming less intense to trouble him. His determination to come out of that becoming more, he getting some spiritual understanding and experience to come out of those anarthas. He can see some purification happening. Otherwise it is very difficult. Because by natural, in a conditioned stage, when we practice spirituality, it does not touch our heart. Because we don't have that, our mind is not in the spirituality. But when we do a small material activity, our mind, senses, intelligence and soul, everything is in the material activities. So 5 minutes of that material activity can consume our consciousness for whole day. But 4 hours of spiritual activity may not consume our consciousness even for those 4 hours. Why? Because in material consciousness, our consciousness is like that. So if a sadhaka is not consistent also in his practices, then how he can hope to be purified? How he can hope to make progress? You see in Srimad Bhagavatam also, all the personality who got purified, they kind of just stopped all material activities and 24/7 they just focused on spiritual activity. Then we see Ratnakar becoming Valmiki, then we see Mrigali becoming such a great soul, then we see Dhruv Maharaj having Lord to appear and he perfected his life. But then we are not at that level that we can do, such intense spiritual practices. Right? So for we as a sadhaka, we have to see that how I bring my sadhana into my practices in a way where it is consistent. So one of the first goal of a good sadhaka is to have consistency in sadhana. This is the first goal. And when we talk about consistency, then naturally the mode of goodness plays a very important role. Naturally the regulation plays a very important role. And you will find those sadhakas who grow in their spiritual life, you will see this aspect very distinct in their life, consistency in the sadhana. Like you see, is there is tradition who sleeps by 8:30, gets up at 2:30, then attends morning program, does sitting at one place 17-16 rounds, and like that his sadhana is consistent. While taking bath, he hears something. Varakru gets up at 2:30, 3 to 4:30 chants, then attends morning program, then chants further, then 6:30 he goes, 6:30 to 7:30 does yoga, then 7:30 he takes bath, then comes for darshan, then comes for Bhagavatam class. He always plans his travel in such a way that either he reaches before 8 p.m. or he will start his travel after 9 a.m. so that his morning program is always kept very nice. So you see, those who are able to have this aspect, then you can see them that they are able to grow. Although it is very difficult. Our sadhana itself is very less. Srila Prabhupada brought down from 64 to 16 rounds. And our environment also has become very passionate. Our mind also is very passionate. And then if we don't have consistency in what we do, then we cannot hope to experience any change. We cannot hope to experience any spiritual happiness. Then naturally we feel dry, naturally we feel things are very mechanical, and then it will have a lot of difficulty. So we have to see how we plan, but then first goal is that my basic sadhana, they are consistent. So no matter whether I am in train, whether I am in home, whether I am in voice, whichever place, you sleep on time and get up on time. And then you try to complete as many rounds as possible in the morning. Try to have daily some reading, try to have daily some hearing, and try to render some service for Krishna. Nothing is there, go out, bring one flower and offer to Krishna. And Lord, today only this flower which was freely available, I want to offer for your pleasure. You have to do some service to Krishna with your senses. Right? If nothing is there, then just look at foot of the Lord and pray. Thank Lord for whatever He has given to us. And why I am stressing so much? Because unless we do this, we cannot experience much. And then mechanical practice cannot go for long. Dry practice cannot go for long. And then the material taste is still alive, and spiritual taste has not arisen. In fact, it has. Spiritual practices are appearing dry and mechanical, then naturally mind will push you back to the material taste. Then again we will get remembrance of पहले मैं गुड्डे खाता था, बेटेनिया खाता था, पाव भाजी खाता था, मैगी खाता था, कोका-कोला कितने साल हो गए कोका-कोला ऐसे एकदम ठंडा ठंडा रहता था, एकदम तब करके खाना खा जाता था। तो सब थॉट्स आपके वापस आ गए। कितने साल हो गए मूवी देखे, रजनीकांत क्या एकदम एक्शन सीन होते थे, तो वो सारी चीज़ें आ जाएगी। इसलिए क्योंकि आप जो है माउंटेन के ऊपर चढ़ रहे हैं, दैट इज दीज आर द स्टेजेस। सो आइदर यू हैव टू कीप गोइंग अप और बाय डिफॉल्ट यू हैव टू कम डाउन। Srila Prabhupada says no, there is no stagnancy in spiritual life. Practice spiritual life is like swimming against the current. So if you are swimming, then there is a hope that you will go little ahead. Otherwise, by default, the current of the river will take you to the material side. So it is not easy, and especially these stages, Bhajan Kriya and other things. When one reaches to Nishtha, then that is like reaching on the top of the mountain. Then the downward pulls are not there. Then he is kind of stable. But until then, where he reaches to the top of the mountain, he has to struggle like anything. He has to struggle like anything. So this Dhanataral is a challenge for devotees. But then he has to see that how he reduces this and makes his spiritual life more consistent. And that much he can experience happiness. Actually, one happiness comes by doing our activities of sadhana also. Like if you are able to get up early, do your whole morning program, chant 6 rounds in the morning, that also gives you happiness. Prabhu, आज थोड़ा अच्छा हो गया. Is it not? But if there is struggle, बहुत, somehow you got up and then you have to run, then somehow you काम कर रहे हैं. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु ये मत कीजिए इस पे जो मार्किंग कर रहे हैं, वॉइस में पूरी से पे कर रहे हैं. So and then you become late and somehow in hurry you wear dhoti kurta, then you run and then already the concert has started and then finally you reach and then you finally pay obeisances and whole consciousness becomes different. But if you are on time and you are consistent, then that also gives you happiness. That also gives a sense that I am able to do my part at least. Because as a sadhaka we can do our part and then hope and pray for Krishna's mercy to come like this. And if you are not careful here, then what will happen is you will become. If we are allowing dhan taral to be prevalent in our life, if we are allowing our sadhana to be not consistent but fluctuating, then we cannot avoid being affected by Vyud-Vikalpa. Vyud-Vikalpa means we will have doubts, we will have confusion, we will be undecisive, we will not understand what decision should I take. So see, this kind of questions. Shall I just spend my life happily in family life, making wife and children Krishna conscious and worshipping the Lord? Or should I give them all up and go to Vrindavan and perfect myself by engaging full time in hearing and chanting with no distraction? Shall I wait until last stage after enjoying all sorts of pleasures, when I have finally understood that the whole material world is simply a forest fire of affliction? So like that doubts will come. Should I be now, because I am young, should I just enjoy my life now and then later I will see about my spiritual life? So these kind of doubts will come. And as I said, the moment doubt comes, which decision our mind will take? The lower one. The moment you can, should I enjoy life now and then later on I will see my spiritual life? Mind say yes, why not? Now you can enjoy your life. And later on, कितने लोगों ने अजामिल ने कब भक्ति किया? सब एंजॉय करके 88 की उम्र में भक्ति किया. तुमने तो कुछ किया ही नहीं एंजॉयमेंट. धृतराष्ट्र कब गए? जब पूरा बूढ़ा हो चुके थे तब गए. So many examples are there to justify your decision. So please enjoy and then later on knowledge you have only. Association कहाँ जा रहा है? पास में इतने स्कॉल मिलते रहे, इतने सेंटर कहीं पर भी मिल ही जाएगा association. So then these kind of doubts will come. So Vyud-Vikalpa means mainly doubts will come in relation to should I practice sincerely or should I practice casually, or should I stop this gratification now or should I not stop this gratification now, should I do more commitment to my spiritual life now or no, let me be a casual devotee now. So like that it will happen. So lot of doubts will come, lot of undecisiveness will come, lot of confusion will come. What should I do, what should I not do? Mind will say unnecessarily you are trying to do much more than your capacity, you are not made for it, you are not a Mahabhagavat coming from previous life, Prabhu, you have no Agyaspati, you are zero. It seems you have started just now, so be practical, go slow. Other people, they might have done in the previous life. You have other background, so you can go slow. And you see, already you tried so many times. Try to give up this gratification, but again mind becomes heavy and again you give up to this gratification. So you understand that it is your need. Don't be artificial. You cannot just be purified and Mahabhagavat in a single night. So like that many doubts will come. Like that many this thing will come. Confusion will come. And the mind may also say, what is wrong in this gratification? The example in Shastra is what is this gratification? So that much is allowed. It's not that you are free out of realm of devotional service. You are very much in the realm of devotional service. And this much gratification is allowed. You can do. And currently on thinking only. Thinking to in Kaliuga is allowed only, bro. No result. Thinking to you can actually think and enjoy. And later on you can see how in a dharmic way you can give a shape to it. So like that, slowly, gradually, mind will drag one down. Like that. Like we have a devotee, I met him recently. So he was a good devotee, stayed in voice. So when he was in voice, he was like very good preacher, very nicely preaching also. And then he decided I want to be in Nityan Sabha. And then he decided that I want to go for Prabhuji, I will go to teaching line. So I will do PhD, then I will become professor, and I will come in IIT Kanpur as with you. So he encouraged him very nice. Then he went for PhD, and then he went more deep into PhD. Then he got into job life. And then initially he was chanting 16 rounds, but he would chant 8 in the morning and he would chant 8 in the evening. Slowly while chanting, his habit became that he would chant and he would see WhatsApp or something in the mobile also. Slowly what started happening is mind started becoming heavy that he cannot chant 16. Now finally he has come down to 8 rounds. Now I am doubtful how long he will continue 8 also. Because once somebody starts coming down of the mountain, then he keep coming down again. Same thing happens, 16 to 8, 8 to 4, 4 to 1, 1 to 0. Like that. This is beautiful. People start with good desires, good intentions. But see, many times what happens, mind gives this thought about sadhana, करेंगे ना, एक बार एग्जाम हो जाएगा करेंगे, एक बार PhD हो जाएगा करेंगे, एक बार जॉब हो जाएगा तो करेंगे. लेकिन धीरे धीरे करके क्या होता है, तब तक वो स्पिरिचुअली इतना वीक हो जाता है, फिर माइंड बोलता है नहीं कर सकते, एक वापस आता है. Many times that's why we say devotees, whatever you do, keep your basic minimum sadhana consistent. If you don't keep your basic minimum sadhana consistent and have a thought and desire that I will do this and then tomorrow I will serve Prabhupada nicely, that tomorrow will never come. I will take you before. So we don't want that we can serve Prabhupada only in this way. First priority is let my basic sadhana be consistent. Beyond that, whatever time I have, whatever intelligence I have, whatever energy I have, I try to give. And after that, whatever opportunity Krishna gives me to serve Prabhupada, that is my opportunity. By that opportunity I will serve. But if I compromise my consistent sadhana for doing something which later on I am thinking I will serve Prabhupada, will never happen. So wherever we are, we have to see that our sadhana remains very consistent. Otherwise, this beautiful will trouble us like anything. And for guests also, they will get this doubt. Should I marry a devotee girl or should I marry a non-devotee girl? Should I marry as per my parents' terms? Parents are telling, कि हमारी caste की होनी चाहिए, हमारी caste की होनी चाहिए. Or should I be very particular about devotee girl? The moment this doubt will come, mind will say, डिवोटी तो बनी जाएगी. जब मैं डिवोटी बन गया तो भी डिवोटी बन जाएगी. मंदिर में जाऊंगा, प्रसाद खिलाऊंगा, थोड़ा सा घुमा दूंगा, बस. फिर they marry and then they understand it is not easy. प्रभुपाद जी अपने पुत्रों को भक्त नहीं बना पाए. अद्वैताचार्य अपने पुत्रों को भक्त नहीं बना पाए. उनके पुत्र जो है मायावादी बन गए. सोचिए आप. प्रभुपाद जी बोलते हैं मैंने कितना प्रेम से अपने पुत्रों का नाम प्रयागराज रखा, वृंदावन रखा, बड़ी ना प्रयागराज जाते हैं, वृंदावन जाते हैं. इतना आसान नहीं. So this is beautiful. Always compromise in one's spiritual discipline. Always a compromise in one's spiritual practice. The more one gets affected by this vehicle, then that much he keeps going down, that much he keeps going down, like that. So this is explained by him. Then he is saying more about vehicle. Paradigm possibilities. As one progress in bhajan, various different ideas come to the practitioner's mind. Maya in the form of woman, so he is saying. So one aspect of vehicle is undecisiveness. And especially undecisiveness between more spiritual, more sincere spiritual practices or less spiritual practice. And generally decision which he will take is a less spiritual practices. Another aspect of Vikalpa is paradigm possibilities. He is quoting this. Yo vyati sane maya yosya deva vinamita tam ikshetatmano mrityam terne upam ivavritam. Maya in the form of a woman, Maya Yoshit, created by the Lord, Dev Vinurmita, approaches the man gently, Upayati Sane. One should see her as a death, Tam Ikshita Atmano Mrityu, like a well covered with the grass, Tinne Avartam Upam Eva. Bharat, another is quoting is, Yo दुस्त्याजान दाल सुल्तान श्रुत राज्य गिरीश कृष्ण जह युगे मलवद उत्तम शोकलारसा. Bharat, who longed to serve the Lord, yet uttam shokalalarsa, gave up wife, son, friend, kingdom, as if they were to, though they were touching to the heart, thus difficult to give up at a young stage. Should I thus give up unreliable family life while still young? So like that, these thoughts they come. So what thought they come is, let's suppose a very beautiful woman comes in his life. Then one thought will come is, oh, she is Maya. She has come as death personified. Another thought will come is that this is Krishna's arrangement. That she is so nice and we both together will practice spiritual life. So there was a Prabhupada disciple who was in one temple, and he was a brahmachari, and one devotee Mataji had come in the temple, and she was very nice talking to him. So he started getting thought that if I marry her, then we both together will read Krishna so nicely. We both together will serve Krishna so nicely. And then he got married, and then both of them they went. So when something like this happens, one side of mind will say, oh, this is not nice. Another side of mind will say, maybe it is Krishna's arrangement. And what wrong? She is a devotee. And just imagine, how in Kapila section, that Hiranyakashipu section, Kashyap Rishi is saying that getting a good wife is like a good foot, which can always protect a man. So, and we both together can very nicely practice. So this kind of thought may come. Another thought is that this kind of thought may come that, oh, should I just leave everything and be very focused about my spiritual practices? Or another thought may come that, no, should I not leave and let me do whatever I can with all what I have, like this. One time when a devotee going to Chowpatty, so one devotee had told him, Prabhuji, I want to first earn for Krishna. Means he wanted to do some business. So he told, Prabhu, I want to first earn for Krishna. So Gopal told him it is very easy to earn for Krishna, but very difficult to spend for Krishna. On the name of Krishna, many times devotees they say, Prabhuji, मैं ये करूँगा उसका बहुत सेवा करूँगा, मैं ये कमाऊँगा तो बहुत सेवा करूँगा. तो जब तक उस स्टेज पे नहीं पहुँचते हैं तब तक ऐसा बोलते हैं. वहाँ पहुँचने के बाद में सेवा नहीं हो पाता है. ऐसा इनिशियली devotees they go to PhD or some teaching line. प्रभु मैं आगे किसी भी कॉलेज में प्रोफेसर बन जाऊँगा. फिर जब उस स्टेज पे पहुँच जाते हैं then they see their peers. अभी मैं नॉर्मल कॉलेज में प्रोफेसर नहीं बन सकता. एटलीस्ट इस लेवल का कॉलेज तो होना चाहिए, उसी में मैं प्रोफेसर हूँ. एटलीस्ट इतना तो पैकेज होना ही चाहिए तभी मैं प्रोफेसर हूँ. तो इस तरीके से पर्सन गेट्स अफेक्टेड बाय द व्हीकल एंड देन मोस्टली ही टेक्स डिसीजन which is more towards enjoying self gratification or is more towards compromising one's spiritual life. On the other hand, it is not proper to renounce immediately. Should not I wait until the death of my old parents before renouncing? ऐसा थॉट्स आए क्या? अभी तो मेरे माता पिता हैं, अभी मुझे छोड़ना चाहिए, अभी तो जवान है, क्या होगा उनका? गोपाल भट्ट गोस्वामी तो सेवा किए माता पिता का, रघुनाथ भट्ट गोस्वामी की सेवा किए माता पिता. लेकिन रघुनाथ दास गोस्वामी तो छोड़ के चले गए, मुझे क्या करना चाहिए? So like that thoughts are. अहो मे पितरो वृतो भार्या बालात्मा जन्माचा अनाथ मामृते दीनः कथं जीवन्ति दुःखिताः. Oh my poor elderly parents, oh my पितरोर्वृद्धो, and my wife with a mere infant in her arms, and my other young children. Without me, they have absolutely no one to protect them, and they will suffer unbearably. How can my poor relatives possibly live without me? कथं जीवन्ति दीनः. तो ऐसा करके उसको थॉट्स आते हैं कैसे हुआ है बस. ये विकल्प के लक्षण. Another is saying एवं ग्रहाशाक्ता हृदयो मूढ़धि अयम् अतप्तस्तान अनुधायायाम मृतो अंधम विशते तमः. Thus, because of his foolish mentality, a householder whose heart is overwhelmed by family attachment is never satisfied, constantly meditating on his relative. He dies and enters into the darkness of ignorance. Andham tamah vishate. So he gets these two thoughts, and then which decision finally takes. So if you want to take any decision for Krishna, it has to be very clear decision. And those who have that clarity, they only take that decision. The moment doubt comes, he has to take the lower one. So whenever you have to take any decision about Krishna, it will happen only when you are very clear. Prabhu, ye karna. Again, SRM, there was a boy, and he had sitted with his friends outside college, but not in boys. And later on, after attending program, he became quite serious about spiritual life. So then we requested him, Prabhu, you can stay in boys. So he told his friends that अरे मैं वहाँ पर boys करूँगा, मैं आप लोगों के साथ रहूँगा. तो उनके दोस्तों ने बुला रहे, हम लोगों ने साथ में मिलके यहाँ पर प्लान बनाया रहने का. तो हमें छोड़ के क्यों जा रहे हो? तो तुरंत वो बॉय बोलता है, देखो मैंने डिसाइड कर लिया है, अभी मैं जा रहा हूँ और मैं उससे पीछे नहीं हटने वाला. And then he came. So you'll find anyone who has taken up some decision about Krishna, it is done because he was very clear. And then only he can take up. Otherwise, his mind will drag him down. The moment more viewed vikalp is there, that much mind has a time and that much mind has energy to pull you down to lower practices. More clear is, that's why about Bharat Maharaj is mentioned. Na? He left everything as if a person passes his stool and never looks back. अब सोचो आप जो है सब छोड़ के जा रहे हो, फिर बालकनी से आपकी सारी पत्नियां खड़ी हैं, उसके नीचे आपके सारे लड़के खड़े हैं, उसके नीचे सारे मिनिस्टर खड़े हैं, और आप मुड़ के देख रहे हो और उनकी सबकी आंखों में आंसू हैं, लड़के बोल रहे हैं पापा, सारे बोल हो रहे हैं. तो क्या होगा, फिर आप वापस चले जाओगे. इसलिए भगवान राम भी क्या किए, अयोध्या वासियों को रात में सोते ही छोड़ के चले गए. Because he was very clear, I have to go. By such statements, the Lord depreciates such renunciation. Therefore, for time being, I just work to keep my body alive. Later, after satisfying all my senses, I will enter Vrindavan and engage in worshipping of the Lord 24 hours a day. So, His Holiness Raghunath Maharaj says that for non-devotees, Lord material energy cheats them by not allowing them to surrender. And for devotees, Maya cheats them by postponing their surrender. करेंगे बाद में फ्लैट खरीद लेते हैं वृंदावन में. बहुत ऐसे, खास करके अगर आप कुछ गृहस्थ लोगों से मिलते हैं तो ऐसे बहुत बोलते हैं, तो जी हम तो बस प्लानिंग कर रहे हैं, बूढ़े हो जाएंगे तो वृंदावन में एक जगह लेके बस आ जाएंगे. ऐसा प्लानिंग कब करते हैं जब वो जवान रहते हैं. जब बूढ़े हो जाते हैं तब वो प्लानिंग एग्जीक्यूशन में नहीं आ पाता है. So he's saying that I'll keep my body alive. Then after satisfying all my senses, I'll enter Vrindavan and then engage in worshiping the Lord 24 hours a day. After all, the scriptures point out that therefore, for a devotee engaged in my loving service, with mind fixed on me, the cultivation of knowledge and renunciation is generally not the means of achieving the highest perfection within this world. तो वो क्या बता रहे हैं, ये विविध विकल्प जो डिवोटी को होता है, उसमें ऐसा नहीं है कि उसके पास में कुछ स्पिरिचुअल जस्टिफिकेशन नहीं है, वो भी है. तो इसलिए विशाल देवी ठाकुर क्या कोट कर रहे हैं, वो बोलते हैं हाँ शास्त्र में भी तो ऐसा लिखा हुआ है कि जो रिनंसिएशन है उतना महत्वपूर्ण नहीं है, किसके लिए? भगवान को प्राप्त करने के लिए। ऐसा आप लोगों ने नोटिस किया होगा, आफ्टर यू बिकम अ डिवोटी, व्हाटएवर वी डिफिकल्ट हैपेंस, वी गेट spiritual justification also of both sides, is it not? So mind will not take you or drag you down to lower thing just by seeing some material aspect. Mind will say some spiritual justification, then mind will drag you down. According to this text, renunciation is a fault for the culture of bhakti. If it arises from bhakti itself, however, that renunciation is not fault, but an effect of bhakti and subordinate to it. तो क्या बोल रहे हैं कि अरे एक तरीके से देखा जाए तो renunciation तो भक्ति के विरुद्ध है। वो जो श्री रूप गोस्वामी has given 64 limbs of bhakti, और वो लिखने के बाद में रूप गोस्वामी आगे कुछ और limbs लिखते हैं और बताते हैं इनको मैंने क्यों इंक्लूड नहीं किया 64 में। वैसे इंक्लूड करना चाहिए, ऐसा प्रतीत होता है कि they should be included in 64 limbs of bhakti, but I have not done। तो उसमें से एक लिंब है जो वो बताते हैं, वो है डिटैचमेंट, या रिनंसिएशन बोल सकते हैं, वैराग्य बोल सकते हैं, डिटैचमेंट बोल सकते हैं। तो बोलते हैं कि इसको मैंने इंक्लूड नहीं किया जानबूझ के 64 कर्मों में। क्यों नहीं किया? तो क्या बोलते हैं कि जब कोई वैराग्य करता है तो उससे हार्ट क्या है, हार्ड हो जाता है, और वो भक्ति के पूरा अपोजिट है। भक्ति में तो हार्ट क्या है, सॉफ्ट हो जाता है, इसलिए मैंने उसको अलग से इंक्लूड नहीं किया है, पहला रीजन। दूसरा, जब कोई भक्ति करता है तो उसमें वैराग्य बाय डिफॉल्ट आ जाता है, तो उसको अलग से कल्टिवेट करने की जरूरत नहीं है। वो चैतन्य महाप्रभु के बारे में आता है ना, चैतन्य महापुरुष भक्त वैराग्य प्रधान, महापुरुष डिवोटीज आर नोन फॉर देयर वैराग्य। तो जब कोई भक्ति कर रहा है तो बाय डिफॉल्ट वैराग्य आ जाएगा, तो अलग से उस वैराग्य के बारे में चर्चा करने की जरूरत नहीं है या प्रैक्टिस करने की जरूरत नहीं, वही यहाँ पर बताया। और फिर वो बोल रहा है, in whatever ashram the sannyasi stayed, they always gave him more than enough to eat. In the life of renunciation, there is no worry for maintenance, so maybe I should renounce. और दूसरा विचार उसके मन में ये आ रहा है कि नहीं, रिनाउंस करना चाहिए, खाने की तो कमी होगी नहीं, कहीं भी जाएंगे सन्यासी के लिए तो पूरा जीवन भोग आता है, तो इसलिए मुझे क्या करना चाहिए, रिनाउंस करना चाहिए। But on the other hand, he feels, my dear Lord Krishna, until people become your devotees, their material attachment and desires remain thieves, their homes remains prison, and their affectionate feelings for their family members remain foot sandals. दूसरी ओर उनको इस प्रकार के थॉट्स आते हैं कि अरे अगर अनाउंस नहीं करूँगा और डिवोटी नहीं बन पाऊँगा अच्छी तरीके से, तो जो भी मटेरियल अटैचमेंट्स हैं और डिजायर्स हैं ये क्या बन जाएंगे, चोर, और घर क्या बन जाएगा, जेल, और जो अफेक्शनेट फीलिंग है फैमिली मेंबर्स के लिए वो क्या बन जाएंगी, फुट सैंडल्स। तो लाइक दैट ही इज थिंकिंग। आई थिंक ये बहुत ज़्यादा ही गुड विकल्प है इसमें, इसको हम कंटिन्यू करेंगे नेक्स्ट टाइम। हरे कृष्ण।